Willie D Live.
What's up, family? Story time. I want you to pay close attention to this, fam, because I've heard about things like this happening, but until it happened to me, I really did not completely grasp the gravity of it. I'm on the phone talking to a really good friend of mine. We've been friends for years and years and years. He tells me he's hanging out with a guy that used to box. He came up in the amateur rankings with us. So I knew of him. I knew who he was, but we were never friends, but I knew who he was. I oftentimes, after, we became adults and everything, and everybody started going in their different directions, I would see him hanging out with politicians, Democratic politicians, state senators, Congress members, state reps. So I thought he was a Democrat. He gets on the phone and tells me that, hey, man, what you think about such and such? You know, I said, yeah, that's my dude. He said, man, I want you to endorse him, I say, you know, somebody being your dude and you voting for him is different from actually giving a public endorsement. So I said, yeah, I ain't got no problem with that. I'm voting for him anyway. He said, man, well, I want to pay you to come out and say a few words at the rally. Work out the terms, I go speak, boom. A few days later, we're hanging out, we're talking about some other business. This dude got deep pockets. He's a big time businessman in the city. Deep pockets. So we're talking about other business. And then he brings up this other candidate. And I said, no, I don't rock with dude at all. I'm not doing that. And he was like, man, I pay you to, woo. I said, no, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing it. So a few weeks later, because we got ongoing conversations about other business. So a few weeks later, we're having lunch and I say something to the effect of people having to pull themselves up by their bootstraps and working for what they want and not waiting around for a handout. And let me be clear for all of you that are thinking about reparations. I want them damn reparations because reparations is a debt owed. It ain't no handout. Let's get that straight. I want my reparations. My ancestors worked for it. All right? That's a debt owed. Moving on. I said, man, he said, yo, Willie D, man, you ain't no Democrat, man. You're a Republican. Man, I ain't no Democrat or a Republican. I'm an independent. He said, yeah, man, but you are always talking about Trump. And I said, I'm going to continue to talk about Trump. He said, yeah, man, my brother-in-law is such and such with the Republican Party. He big time, he control the money, right? He said, man, he can get you at least $1 million and 100 stations before the end of the year if you would just stop talking about Trump. I said, well, that ain't going to happen. He said, no, man, you ain't got to change your message. He said, you ain't got to change your message. Just don't put the Democrats up and, don't talk down on Trump. I said, no, because, when you take that money, they're going to try to control you. I ain't letting nobody control me. He said, no, man, we're not going to try to control you. They don't care about all of that stuff, man. They just don't want you talking about Trump. So what I surmise is they don't really care too much if you're speaking affirmatively about somebody else. But the biggest part is don't say negative things about their guy. I said, that ain't gonna happen, man. And the reason why I was so adamant about it is because I know for a fact Trump is a racist, because not until Barack Obama ran for president did Donald Trump actively start trying to undermine a president. He never went and called out a president publicly because he just did business with all of them, Democrat or Republican. He just did business with them. But now, all of a sudden, we got the black guy coming up, and now it seems a little personal, right? So I just decided that I was going to keep my foot on this neck. I said, yeah, well, I'm cool, man. No, I'm cool. I want y'all to understand something, fam. When you are operating at a high level, the way that my platform is, even before that, with Geto Boys and in this music industry, they're going to come for you. They're going to come for you, and they are going to try to get you to get on their team and do what they want you to do, especially if your message involves uplifting Black people, advancing Black people. If you're trying to give valuable information to Black people and you're trying to help Black people, you are going to be under attack. You are going to come under attack. This is one of the easiest ways for me to recognize when somebody Black is against the Black community, because typically mainstream media is not going to call you out if you are not for Black people. If you're just getting your money and don't care nothing about Black issues and all that stuff, and you're not speaking on that stuff, you can just get your money, quietly get your money, and just ride off into the sunset. But if you are speaking towards the advancement of Black people, oh man, it's going to be a problem. And they're going to hate your guts. Yeah, the mainstream, they're going to hate your guts. And they're going to make that be known. And they're going to try to undermine your existence. They're going to try to distance your allies from you. They're going to try to cut off your finances, all kinds of stuff. Because this country is dead set on keeping Black people at the bottom. I mean, they have a mentality of anybody but Black. That is the mentality of those in Congress. Understand that. That is the mentality of those at City Hall and every other municipality. That's how they rock. So I was like, nah, homie, I'm not doing that. Now, keep in mind, fam, this dude, he came at me. I thought the dude was rocking with the other side because he always was hanging out with them. I mean, this dude hang out with the biggest politicians all the time, Democrats. That's how he hang around. The whole time he's a Republican op. I'm going to tell you something, fam. See, a lot of people don't understand that every day my inboxes are inundated with threats, with disparaging messages. And sometimes they're from Black people. Yeah. Sometimes those messages are from Black people. When I was running for city councilman, it was the Black gatekeepers who I had to get past first. They did not like the idea of somebody who really cares about the people and believes in accountability. This is why nothing gets done in this country. The people that are in the position, they just talk a good game. They just say the words that people want to hear. And the people really, the way that I look at it, they really don't want change. They just want to hope. They just want hope. They just want to hear it. They just want to hear you say pretty things, nice things. If you don't do anything, they're not going to be mad about it. They're just going to take it and keep on moving. So this is why the politicians don't get anything done, because they know they don't have to. All they need is to say the right things to get that initial vote, get in office. And once they get in, they're going to kick their feet up, do whatever they want to do. And when it's time for re-election, that's when you'll start seeing their flyers go back out. They'll be disseminating information about their candidacy and what they're going to do. They'll try to do something nice for the people right before election. Right before the elections, they start trying to do stuff nice stuff. They start showing up at the church. They start walking the streets. Now they want to talk about the police brutality and things of that nature. And then right after you vote for them, you don't hear from them anymore. That's the game. So another part of the game is when you are a charismatic spokesperson in your community, in the Black community, when you have a following, when they see people listening to what you have to say, their goal is to uproot you from your community and put you over here on their team. If they can do that, now what they get to do is silence your message so that you can't help your people. As soon as they see a bright, progressive, charismatic Black person, intelligent Black person, helping their people, they go to them and they offer them a job on this side so that they can silence them, so that they could stop them from working for their people. And this is why so many Black people, when they make it, they take it. They get to the top. They start with their own people. And next thing you know, they're on the world stage, they're on the national stage. And then here come the people come over to, hey, whoa. Next thing you know, they're over here and you don't hear about them anymore. Now you see them doing things, but they're not doing anything to benefit their own people. And now they can actually do more because now they have more resources, but they won't do it because they took the money. They took that money, and see, silence comes with that money. Cooperation comes with that money. Yeah, cooning comes with that money. Yeah. So there are very, very few Black people who have been able to take that money, the big money, get to the big, big, big money, and not sell out. Get to the big money and still have integrity. It ain't too many. But I'm hip to the game that they're running. They ain't gonna never be able to get me like that. I'm 37 years in? 37 years in the public eye, standing up for the people. Sold, not for sale. No more talk.